Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Earlier today, I put out a video on Kevin Samuels, and I want to say thank you to Spiritual So for essentially helping share that video. It's at least the third time he's helped enlighten his audience about the work we put out in this community, the knowledge of gematria, which comes from Kabbalah, which is a very revealing thing to learn that sheds a lot of light on things that need to have light shed on them, from ritual murder to rigged elections to rigged sports to the way propaganda is contrived to mind control the populace. And again, for all the people who heard his video and heard the word gematria for the first time through it, I'm going to give a short gematria lesson. We're also going to talk about it one more time, how gematria factors into the latest death in the world of celebrity, Kevin Samuels. But before we do it, I just want people to hear Spiritual So, in case somehow they don't know about his channel. Again, he's a young man who does good work. He has over 1 million subscribers. I did say this morning that if you have over 1 million subscribers, you're probably not a legit channel. If there is a channel with 1 million subscribers that's legit, it's got to be Spiritual So, because again, he's the only guy, you know, that's ever helped bring attention to this work. And if only all the people with a big platform help bring attention to this work. And I got to admit, for Spiritual So to bring attention, I mean, it is somewhat of a risk. My channel's been deleted 20-some times for sharing this knowledge. And as big of a platform as he has, you know, that there could be a team of censorship police at Google that, you know, they could hit the kill switch on his channel. So anyhow, I do appreciate him sharing the work. And I want to play this clip. This is what he uploaded today. And it's around the 7-minute mark in his video titled Kevin Samuels. And before we play it, let me just switch the audio settings real quick so he comes through nice and clear. And one moment. Okay, I think we got it. So this is Spiritual So. Again, the first time he gave his audience the heads up on the knowledge of gematria was after Kobe Bryant's death. And I think he brought a lot of new people to the work with his recommendation. And I know he's mentioned it a time or two in between, but here's the latest today. So here we go.
One of the things that I told y'all when Kobe Bryant passed away, you need to learn gematria. When it has something to do with deaths, learn gematria. Letters, numbers, rituals. Most of these celebrities don't be dead. And when you learn gematria, nigga, you would be watching the NBA playoffs and they'll show you a little quick highlight or some stats of another player. If you learn how to break down gematria, letters, numbers, ABC as easy as 1, 2, 3. When you learn this shit, you got the keys to the universe. You have now mastered the ability to read through the deception that they be giving us on all of these platforms. Numbers, letters, all the numbers be attached to deaths. Nigga have 42 points and 10 assists. If you add those letters and numbers up, 42 equals nigga in gematria. Another thing, I ain't gonna really get too deep in that. You need to learn gematria. When I was looking up gematria with Kevin Samuels, the deaths, the timing of his deaths, the year he was born, the interviews he did with Future, all of this shit is attached to a ritual. I have seen Kevin Samuels doing this a lot. Is he a Freemason? Who the fuck knows? All these niggas be Freemasons. All these niggas is sellouts. That's why I said, why the fuck is people so mad at Kevin Samuels? He wasn't religious. He wasn't a truth seeker. He was just talking about the hoes. Who gives a fuck? And 9 times out of 10, how the hell is all these girls mad at him? But all of y'all girls is the same ones who giving him all these donations, all these super chats. If you notice, Kevin Samuels got a lot of hate from women, but it's majority women that watch him. I only knew from Kevin Samuels for doing my research on a lot of his shit recently, today and yesterday, and seeing viral clips of him talking about women. I will admit, Kevin Samuels was getting pushed to destroy women. Pushed by who though? I don't know. What made Kevin Samuels who he was the viral clips he had roasting women. He'd tell a girl, if you're not fit, you don't have a gym membership, and you don't eat healthy, you're not worth being with long term. Facts. But a bitch who don't have none of that, they wish he'd die because he hating on us. The last thing I'm going to say is this. Learn gematria. I told y'all this when Kobe passed away. Y'all would have knew the truth about Kobe back then. This way, when one of your favorite celebrities die, you won't be affected by it because you know it's fake. You know it's a deeper ritual attached to it. We in the Matrix, man. We in the Matrix. It's not real. This is not the real world, bruh. Anyway, take care of yourself. Protect your energy. I've been on Patreon for the past couple weeks. I haven't been on YouTube. I've been posting strictly on Patreon. I just took a quick vacation for myself to get away from social media. And I came back when I found out this nigga Kevin Samuels just died. Time for me to come back and speak some shit. Anyway, take care of yourself. Don't tell nobody your plans. Keep growing. Keep growing. Keep focusing on yourself. Bro, listen. What? Take care of yourself, man. I love y'all. Spiritual Soul signing out, bro.
Okay, so again, telling his audience to learn gematria, and that's what's key to me. You know, the fact that he's sharing the word, again, a word that almost nobody has ever heard of. You know, I didn't hear about it until I was 30 years old. And most people this day have still never heard that word once in their life. They might not even know how to spell it at first, but at least now they got a clue. They got a way to type it out, try and find it. And if they do look hard enough, they will definitely find it. And again, he's saying to his audience, learn gematria because then you'll see through the rituals. And if you're like, what does that mean? We'll talk about it in regards to Kevin Samuels. We'll also go back and talk about it in regards to Kobe Bryant. And I'll show you where you can download my ebook for free, where it has a gigantic chapter on Kobe Bryant's death. I can also share where to download my first book, where I talked about Kobe Bryant before he died. But again, what is gematria? Let's again just start. You know, in case there's new people out there tonight who are searching gematria, spiritual soul, trying to figure out what he's talking about. Let's start with ABC is 1, 2, 3, the building blocks of this code. Where does this come from? Again, gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words that comes from Kabbalah. Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism. It has there's a series of books that were written, you know, in relation to Kabbalah, but one's called the Book of Formation, and the opening page of the book says God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. And if you read what gematria is about, it's about pairing words that have natural relationships and matching numerical values. And again, this goes back to ancient Hebrew. If you don't know Hebrew, every letter's a number. Ancient Greek, every letter's a number. And these are old world practices forgotten about by people of modern times. And again, that's because in our years of slave school, they didn't teach us about anything our ancestors used to learn. They didn't teach us any occult knowledge. Pretty much all of this stuff's been preserved by the secret societies. And anyhow, the most simple form of gematria is known as simple English gematria. And on this calculator, it's referred to as English ordinal, which just means the order of the alphabetic letters. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, up to Z, the 26 letters, 26. But the true name of this cipher is simple English gematria. And I want you to see when I write out simple, it's 74. When I write out English, it's 74. When I write out gematria, it's 74. So that is the cipher. The simple cipher, every value is 74. And traditionally, this is a Jewish practice. And notice Jewish is 74. And occult, meaning hidden, is 74. And you heard Spiritual Soul mention, you know, Masons. Modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation. It was created in the banking district of London, where Masonic is 74, so is London 74. And here we are in the United States of America, a nation where the capital city is known as the Masonic City, named after the Freemason George Washington, where the first Jesuit university in the nation is also there, and it's named after George Washington as well, Georgetown. But the Jesuits created modern Freemasonry. And again, in the nation's capital, you have the Jesuits and the Masons. The Jesuits are short for Society of Jesus. And notice, Jesus is 74, like cross, like Messiah. The story of Jesus is called the gospel. Parables, they're all 74, right? You see that? All these words that we've written out are 74. How about this nation's birthday? What day is it? Is it 7-4? Is it 7-4? Holiday is 7-4, which means holy day. And Jesus has some holy days. The Jews have some holy days. The Muslims, again, the three Abrahamic religions, Muhammad has some holy days. Remember how we predicted Muhammad Ali would die at age 74? We predicted that 2 years before it happened. And by the way, he died on June 3rd, like how the Prophet Muhammad died at age 63. And if you add 1 through 63 together, it equals 2016. And he died in 2016 on June 3rd at age 74. Anyway, this isn't arbitrary. These are special numbers. And again, gematria means geometry in language. It's also Jewish numerology. And there are books out there on the meaning of numbers in Judaism, but 7 represents divine completion, 4 represents foundation. And again, this is a spiritual teaching. In a way, you read those numbers, it's like the divine foundation. So this is the most simple cipher. I learned about this from Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages. He was a Mason. And the 2 ciphers he reveals is the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. And I just want you to see that when you write out Independence Day, again with the 7-4 thing, when you use numerology, see with the alphabetic order it's 128, but with numerology it's 74. So it's the alphabetic order and numerology. And if you don't know what that means, notice how A is still 1, B still 2, C still 3, D still 4, E still 5. Where it changes is J, the 10th letter. The numerology of 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. So J becomes 1. K, the 11th letter, becomes 1 plus 1 is 2. L, the 12th letter, becomes 1 plus 2 is 3. M, the 13th letter, becomes 1 plus 3 is 4. Z is the 26th letter. 2 plus 6 is 8. So Z is 8. X, the 24th letter, is 2 plus 4 is 6. So X is 6. Think about XXX in this cipher, 666, right? Okay. So the other half of the code is just running the alphabetic order in reverse and running the alphabetic order in reverse with numerology. And you just heard Spiritual Soul make the point about 42 and it representing the N-word. We're going to talk about why that is the case, because it is true. But first, just understanding the 4 base ciphers. Independence Day, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, is 277. And what's interesting about that is that's the 59th prime number. And if I write out Freemasonry, you see that it equals 59. 59 is the 17th prime number, and the word Mason equals 17. And modern Freemasonry was created in 1717, 59 years before Independence Day. So again, all of these ciphers are related. And with regards to Jesus equaling 74, notice when I write out Jesus Christ, it also equals 74 when I run the alphabetic order in reverse with numerology. Notice how the name Kevin also has the 6174 in it, like Jesus and cross. Kevin Samuels. Notice how it overlaps with Jesus Christ. And I'm not saying Kevin Samuels is Jesus Christ, but I'm going to explain to you why the same patterns persist. Jesus Christ and Kevin Samuels are the exact same with the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, and the reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. 151, 43, 74. And in the Bible, the only physical description left of Jesus would make you think that he must have been someone at least somewhat of African descent, because he has darker complected skin and a physical description of hair that's like wool. And the other thing is, if you're not familiar with the Bible, the New Testament is the Christian section, which begins with the story of Jesus. ends with Revelation, where Revelation 1:14 has the physical description of Jesus. But out of these 4 ciphers, what's considered the most pure cipher is the dark blue one. And if I write out New Testament, it equals 42. And the New Testament begins with the 42 generations to Jesus. So 42 relates to Jesus. Jesus has this physical description of a black man. And notice, Black History Month is February. February is 42. The N-word and written out equals 42. And again, all these ciphers are important. All these ciphers are important. I got to show you something. Shout out to Caleb. Whoops, wrong website. Hold on. Remember Family Matters with Steve Urkel? I just want you to see how this comes together and how all of these ciphers get used so often in rituals. So Family Matters, 42nd episode deals with somebody spray painting the N-word on the locker. And here's more of this. This episode was called Fight the Good Fight, and it debuted March 1st, 91. And if I'm not mistaken, this is 2 days before the Rodney King beating on March 3rd, 91, 3-3. Police, Masonry, Order, Secrecy, Federal, they all equal 33 in the most pure cipher. Race war equals 33. The riots for George Floyd started on 33rd Street. Again, this stuff happens all the time. Trayvon Martin got buried on 3-3. But anyway, 42nd episode comes out on the 60th day of the year, and Fight the Good Fight equals 102. Look at how the N-word goes with 60 for the 60th day of the year, 42 for the episode number, and 102 for Fight the Good Fight. And look at the word slavery. Slavery's got the 102 and 40 in it as well. You see the 30? Let me write out the N-word again. The N-word also has the 30 in it. With regards to slavery and N-word both having 102, do you remember what just happened on the 102nd day of the year? They said a black man shot a bunch of people in a subway in New York City. That was April 12th, the 102nd day of the year, the anniversary of the start of the Civil War. And when you think of the Civil War, you probably think of the Underground Railroad. Get it? Subway, Underground Railroad, blame it on a black man. All the cameras were out coincidentally. The whole scene looks super contrived. Mayor Adams said that there were 33 shots fired from a Glock 17. By the way, they said it took 30 hours to catch the shooter who shot 33 shots. He's the former police commissioner. Adams knows how police is 33 and 30. Get Masonry's 33. Mason is 17. 33 shots from a Glock 17. Police issued handgun. But anyway, this is gematria. When you learn this knowledge, you just see through pretty much everything that comes through the television. The TV is nonstop propaganda. But just to go on about the 42 thing, notice how the word Jackie's 42, right? Like Jackie Robinson, number 42. Look how the name Huxtable's 42, like from the Cosby family. Cosby Show's 42. Again, Slavery's 42. Martin, you got Martin Luther King Jr. You also have Martin, the sitcom where he lives in apartment 42. Malcolm X. Think about how Martin and Malcolm X were not their birth names. They were names given to them. And Martin Luther King was renamed after Martin Luther, who led the Protestant Reformation and wrote the 95 Theses, only to be assassinated on the 95th day of 1968. Huge number with the Jesuits. That's why they were recognized by Rome on the day, leaving 95 days left in the year. And the Club of Rome was established 3 days after the assassination of Martin Luther King. But anyway, just this 42 is all over just Black history. And again, Black History Month, February, the 42 month. Bus is 42. Rosa Parks born on 4/2 in Black History Month. Again, the first black baseball player in white major league is really Moses Walker, whose name is 42, who played in 42 games. And, one of the biggest sports stars in the world right now, LeBron James, 42. You have the rapper right now, 42 Doug from Detroit on the 42nd parallel. You also have Royce the 5'9", where Slave, Negro, Blues, Rasta all equal 59. Motown came out in Detroit in 59. Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year. But LeBron James, 42, not arbitrary. Again, the whole thing about the Warriors and Cavs, the 4 years in a row that they met in the finals, it was all about 42. And Nate Thurmond, who played for both teams, who had his number 42, retired with both teams. The Warriors won the first series versus the Cavs. The next year, the Cavs beat the Warriors on the real King James's birthday. LeBron scored 27 that day. It was the 103rd game of the season for the Cavs, the 27th prime, and then 27 days later, Nate Thurman died. The word rituals 27. But again, Nate Thurman, who wore 42 for both teams, who was the riddle. Again, if you guys weren't here, I before the Warriors and Cavs ever met in the finals, I said why it was going to be Warriors and Cavs that year, what it had to do with Nate Thurman, 42. The first black quarterback to ever win the Super Bowl, Doug Williams, did it with 42 points. Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson represents the Seahawks, the 42nd state, the second black quarterback to do it. And then the third was Patrick Mahomes, who had 42 pass attempts in the game. And notice both games he won last year in the playoffs are both big 42 rituals. Representing Missouri, where the Michael Brown thing popped off, Black Lives Matter, where Missouri's 42 and so is Ferguson. Got the Jesuit University right there. For the record, the Jesuits who've coded this number all over black history and who hate black people, that's why there's never been a black pope. Jesuits also 42. And in that same cipher, so is Georgetown, 42. And again, Georgetown's named after the Freemason George Washington, and Freemasons 42. Outside of these base ciphers, the Freemason logo is a capital G. There are other ciphers, like Sumerian gematria is multiplying the alphabetic order times 6. So when you multiply G times 6, it's 7 times 6, 42. So the Freemason logo, G can represent 42. Another cipher is where capital letters matter. So notice when I write lowercase g, I'm going to put up this cipher up here. It's called Francis Bacon. Notice how in Francis Bacon, it says G is worth 7. That's lowercase g, right? But uppercase G is worth 33. And that's because in this cipher, lowercase a through z is 1 through 26. Uppercase A is 27 through uppercase Z is 52. And where G is 33, in that most pure cipher, Masonry's 33, secrecy's 33, order's 33, federal's 33. So the point is there's a really clever code behind the English language. And it's not arbitrary that the G is the Mason's logo. And just thinking about the G itself, G is the 7th letter. Remember how we started out with 74, where Masonic is 74 and all those other things? Those two numbers have a mathematical relationship. 7 is the 4th prime number. 7 is the 4th prime number. Prime number relationships are huge in this study. So something you'll notice when you learn this code is that so many of the black men who die in this world prematurely in the most suspicious of ways, they'll have this connection to the gematria of Jesus Christ. So again, Jesus Christ, 151, 43, 74. Kevin Samuels, 151, 43, 74. And it's because who's running the show? The Society of Jesus, where a concept in the language, or not in the language, but in the religion, is that human sacrifice is part of God's plan for a better world. And again, I mean, this is a twisted interpretation, but these people are twisted. These people are evil, sick. Keep in mind, sometimes when these celebrities die, I don't think they're really dying, but obviously sometimes they are. And in the case of Kevin Samuels, I don't know if he's really dead or not. But regardless, it doesn't matter. Either way, what's being done is evil. And you have to understand who's doing it and for what purpose and why. And again, if you've ever heard the term the cabal, which comes from Kabbalah, which means the secret, political faction, the secret, power in the shadows. Again, it's the Jesuits. We're on their calendar. English is credited to a Catholic monk. All of this stuff's been in motion since the 16th century. Again, if you don't know the historical timeline, the calendar we're on came out in the 16th century. English was standardized the way we speak it in the 16th century, and all came about a half century after the Jesuits were created in the earlier part of the 16th century. So, with that said, now that you know the code, let's again go over the death of Kevin Samuels and look at some real familiar patterns here.